Hi, Licata here, live with the Licata Show podcast, reacting to, of course, the latest disappointing news as it pertains to the New York Mets. Kyle Tucker spurning the Mets to go to the Dodgers. Is anybody really surprised at this point? I mean, the Dodgers. Now, what I will say is that, again, similar to what we saw with Yamamoto, there's really not much the Mets could do. I know everybody wants to go nuts and yell at the Mets and, oh, how do they lose in this and that? And we'll get into the ramifications of this in just a second. But as it pertains to losing out on Kyle Tucker, I just saw Heyman post this on X a couple of seconds ago. 4 years, $240 million. Come on. It's getting out of control. I mean, I'm sure all of it's deferred. I got to stay up to date on that to see how much of it is actually deferred by the Dodgers. But either way, $60 million a year for Kyle Tucker? No, thank you. Not even in 4 years would I want Kyle Tucker for that. So that is absurd. I mean, the sport is it's out of control here. And it's the big bad Dodgers. They needed an outfielder. They needed another star. Coming off another World Series win. The rich get richer. They get better, whatever. I still don't think that they're unbeatable. I mean, somebody's actually have to beat them for that to change. But I don't look at them as saying, they can't be beaten. They almost got beat by the Blue Jays last year. 2 years ago, they almost got beat by the Padres in the first round. Tucker's not – he can't put them over the top when they're already on the top. So Tucker could have made the Blue Jays better. He could have made the Mets better. I don't know if I necessarily look at him and say the Dodgers are better. Think of it this way. If Tucker went to the Mets, would you say that the Mets are better than the Dodgers? Probably not, right? You'd be like, well, no, the Mets are good. They're getting there, but they need to add pitching. They need to do this. They need to do that, right-handed bat. So I still don't think Tucker going to the Mets would make them better than the Dodgers. And I don't think that Tucker going to the Dodgers makes them that much better than everybody else because they're already that much better than everything else. It's the old once something's wet, it's wet theory. Like you can't be more wet than the Dodgers. I am floored. And I'm not even annoyed from a Met fan perspective. Did I really, truly believe they were going to end up with Tucker? I never really felt it. Like Soto last year when I was telling you we were going to get Soto. I felt that deep in my core. With Tucker, I wasn't so sure. I was wondering what the holdup was. Was it, did he want a longer commitment from the Blue Jays? What I'm shocked about here is not the result of Tucker going to the Dodgers. I'm shocked that he got $60 million a year. Who in their right mind would pay him $60 million? And if I'm Steve Cohen, I've got to be thinking to myself, what the F do I got to do to be able to land one of these guys? Ohtani wanted no part of the East Coast. You could throw in the Yankees, too. Good for the Yankees not even getting involved in it. Like, the Bronze Bombers actually paid off in this spot. You never even got your feelings hurt if you're a Yankee fan because your team never had a chance. At least the Mets, and this is the second time it's happened now. Yamamoto, obviously the one of recent mind. The Mets go to, 320, whatever it was. I thought they were going to get Yamamoto. And obviously, he goes to the Dodgers with Tucker. Same thing. Mets set the table. We'll give you $50 million a year, 4 years, $200 million. And then this guy who probably wanted no part of New York. I believe the rumors. Now I do. I believe the rumors about Kyle Tucker. Not want the slow motor, not wanting the big city, New York. He could go to the Dodgers and fit in like everybody else and join it already, like the Kevin Durant of the MLB. You go join the Dodgers, already a champion. And by the way, it actually is disrespectful to KD to call Kyle Tucker that. But you get the point. It's a big city in LA, but he's nowhere near the smoke. He's just another guy in a star-studded roster. Here in New York, there would have been big-time pressure on Kyle Tucker. He hurts his hand or hurts his wrist. People are going to want to know why he's not performing. So I think a little bit less smoke, if not a lot of bit less smoke, in Los Angeles. He clearly didn't want New York and was using the Mets to drive up the price. I'm sorry. I can't go nuts with blaming Steve Cohen or David Stearns or the Mets. They're not cheap. They tried. The fact that the guy turned down $200 million over 5 years because he got a better offer for 6 years, for 4 years for $60 million a year for $240, unbelievable. Now, the part that matters, because Kyle Tucker is now irrelevant. Not on the Yankees, not on the Mets. He's with the Dodgers. That's our problem to try to go beat the Dodgers. Yankees got ways to go. Obviously, the Mets do. So the Mets miss out on Kyle Tucker here. That's the problem that you have when you let Alonso go. And I guess the first thought, aside from, because you can't go back and change history, and I still believe it was the right thing to do to break up the core. I said this, I'm on record saying it, I would have brought back Alonso and tried to change as much of everything else as I could have, even mentioning that I would have traded Francisco Lindor. They chose to let Alonso go for probably many reasons. The easy thing is to just not sign somebody back. It's going to be hard to trade Lindor in that contract, but whatever. Lindor and Soto were their two guys. Okay, so now how do they build around it? And Tucker was going to be the right answer. They desperately needed an outfielder. So now, what's the natural pivot? You don't need me to tell you this, but I'll tell you it anyway. The natural pivot is Cody Bellinger. I don't think Bellinger's a good fit with the Mets. I know that they need an outfielder. I know that they're desperate. But does that mean that you should now overpay for a guy who you don't believe is as good as the guy you just offered $50 million a year? And you're going to settle for less than? And you're going to have to beat the Yankees offer of 5 years, $30 million a year? I don't think that that's smart business for the Mets. Now, what's the alternative outside of that? I got to be honest with you. I'm at a loss.